A Simple Favor director Paul Feig claps back at Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick feud rumors. The director, who worked with the two actresses on the 2018 film A Simple Favor.
Have you ever witnessed a star try to make a triumphant return, only to find the entire world seemingly stacked against them? It's that moment when the flashbulbs of paparazzi suddenly feel more like interrogation lights, and the wave of cheers turns into a low rumble of hostility. That's exactly the spectacle unfolding around Blake Lively, a one-time Hollywood darling now grappling with a wave of controversies that no amount of polished PR can hide. Once she could dazzle entire premieres with her effortless charm, but at her latest event, all anyone could talk about were the dark clouds gathering above her career. How did it come to this? And why is everyone from co-stars to protestors so determined to call her out? What follows is a story as winding and dramatic as any Hollywood screenplay, one filled with strained smiles, frosty co-star interactions, whispered lawsuits, and a level of backlash that's spilling off the internet and straight onto the red carpet. Buckle in, because once you see how each piece fits together, you'll understand why many believe her days as a top-tier star may be numbered. If there's one event a celebrity counts on to reignite the spotlight, it's a high-profile film premiere. Typically, you show up in a stunning outfit, say a few charming words to the camera, and let social media do the rest. For Blake Lively, the launch of Another Simple Favor was supposed to be that perfect opportunity. She arrived with an almost defiant confidence, waving at fans like she had never heard a whisper of scandal in her life. But if you peered beyond the camera flashes, you'd notice a crowd of onlookers exchanging uncertain glances, as though everyone felt an undercurrent of tension. In the days leading up to the premiere, the rumor mill was in overdrive. Some claimed that co-stars had grown weary of Blake's need for control over every aspect of production, from marketing materials to publicity interviews. Others insisted the real problem had nothing to do with petty showbiz drama, but rather a looming legal battle that she'd tried hard to keep under wraps. Whatever the cause, the normally buoyant atmosphere of a film launch felt weighted by caution, like people were tiptoeing across broken glass. Then came the first jolt. Reporters attempting casual interviews quickly found themselves in awkward
YouTuber Melanie King's allegation on X March 7th that Lively was terrified to walk the carpet at the new movie's premiere at SXSW that day because Anna is pissed and never wants to work with her again.
Territory whenever the topic shifted to rumored lawsuits or personal disputes. Blake, unwavering smile plastered on, glided past the tough questions. Her short, polite replies gave away nothing tangible, but the tension in her eyes spoke volumes. She seemed determined to forge ahead, ignoring the possibility that the entire industry was starting to turn on her. But that wasn't all. Before long, fans started buzzing about how certain cast members looked ready to walk off the carpet at the slightest mention of Blake's name. One particularly telling moment involved Anna Kendrick, who stood a considerable distance from Blake, stepping aside whenever the press angled to capture them in a single frame. What seemed at first like minor red carpet posturing started to feel like a symbolic freeze-out. Yet this was only a sliver of the drama brewing beneath the surface. Anna Kendrick is known for her quick wit and self-deprecating humor, so when fans saw her reacting to Blake's presence with near silence, eyebrows shot up. Usually, press tours for big movies are jam-packed with friendly banter and back and forth, quips among castmates, especially when the cameras are rolling. This time, though, Anna seemed determined to say as little as possible regarding Blake. In one brief interview clip, a reporter cheerfully asked her how it felt to reunite with her co-star. Anna paused, let out a breath, and responded with the most perfunctory statement imaginable. "Oh, you know." That was it. No follow-up, no forced grin, nothing. Body language experts had a field day dissecting her stance, eye contact, and carefully measured tone. Their consensus? This was a person who felt both resentful and exhausted. It wasn't the gleeful tension you sometimes see in staged feuds aimed at drumming up publicity. It was a thick, uncomfortable silence that no one dared break on air. Some insiders claimed that Anna had been pushed to the edge by an endless cycle of promotional gimmicks. Others whispered that she'd grown fed up with the wave of negative press swirling around Blake, especially a sudden legal skirmish that threatened to eclipse the entire film. Publicly, Anna remained vague, never dropping a scathing insult, nor offering a courtesy compliment. But her distance spoke more clearly than any statement could. Fans online picked up on the cues instantly, generating a viral swirl of memes and reaction threads. Some users joked that Anna was performing the coldest read in Hollywood, while others wondered what epic meltdown was happening behind the scenes. The truth, as it turned out, led straight into a legal storm that would overshadow every glitzy photo op. Even if you weren't following the behind-the-scenes tension on Another Simple Favor, you couldn't miss the headlines about Blake Lively's legal battle with Justin Baldoni. What started as a hush-hush disagreement had snowballed into a public fiasco where lawsuits and accusations surfaced almost daily. Depending on which insider you believed, Blake was either valiantly standing up for herself or orchestrating a high-stakes move to maintain control of her narrative.
All eyes are on Blake Lively.
You think I want to make you pay?
Like, what does it mean to be back with Anna?
Oh, it's the best. I'm so happy.
In Hollywood, image is everything. So as soon as cracks appeared in hers, every media outlet pounced. Evidence started leaking, emails, statements, behind-the-scenes footage that suggested the lawsuit might be less about justice and more about revenge or strategic career moves. Suddenly, the question was no longer if Blake was in hot water, but how deep she was sinking. As attorneys from both sides traded blow after blow, the story morphed into an unpredictable sideshow. Hashtags soared on social media, with some posts defending Justin Baldoni and others relitigating every choice Blake made during her rise to fame. Anna Kendrick's frosty stance now made perfect sense. It wasn't just that she'd grown tired of forced photo ops. She likely recognized that the film's entire press tour could be derailed by questions about Blake's legal controversy. Publicly, everyone tiptoed around the topic, refusing to give explicit statements, but you could sense the frustration building. Cast members wanted to promote the movie they'd worked so hard on. Instead, they were fielding inquiries about a lawsuit none of them were personally involved in. The atmosphere on set and at events became palpable. Whispered conversations behind velvet ropes and curt mentions of ongoing legal matters replaced the usual jokes and camaraderie. Tensions rose to a boiling point, spilling over into more obvious displays of frustration. Yet if Blake was hoping to keep the conflict contained, she was about to be sorely disappointed. Hollywood is well practiced in weathering scandal. From leaked tapes to shocking confessions, the show business machine knows how to churn out fresh narratives that distract from controversies. But something different happened this time. Instead of quietly granting Blake the breathing room to spin a new story, the industry began shutting its doors. Brand deals that once hinged on her likable persona abruptly fell through. Fashion labels, previously thrilled to have Blake wear their designs, started ghosting her team. Several top-tier agencies reportedly advised their talent to avoid direct associations until the dust settled. Casting directors who once saw Blake as a bankable star now whispered that she might be too risky for major roles.
Today, a protester was among the crowd as the Another Simple Favor stars hit the premiere at the South by Southwest Film and TV Festival.
Even directors known for championing strong leads expressed reservations, fearing the drama attached to her name would overshadow their projects. Somewhere in the midst of these rejections, it became glaringly obvious that a wave of backlash wasn't just swirling around her professional life, it was beginning to erode her personal connections too. People who had been close allies started maintaining polite distance. Formal acquaintances refused to comment publicly. There was an unspoken sense that no one wanted to be dragged down by a scandal that was expanding like wildfire. But the moment that really confirmed her fall from grace wasn't yet another lost partnership or a rumor-laden social media storm. It was the in-person, impossible-to-ignore display of public disapproval that happened right where she thought she'd be safe, her own film premiere. Glamorous red carpets are usually well-orchestrated events where even the surprises are planned. Yet there are some things you can't script. As Blake Lively stepped out in front of a swirl of cameras, she found herself confronted by a group of protesters, people holding signs that read, "Justice for Justin Baldoni," and "Blake lied." It was more than just a momentary blip. This was a stark, visceral show of defiance aimed squarely at her. In the past, any tension might have stayed behind Twitter avatars or remained vague online banter. Now it was as real and immediate as physical posters waving in the night air. Studios that might have once rushed to secure her for new roles saw her as a lightning rod for bad press. The scandal overshadowed any positive qualities she brought to a project. Directors whispered about how on-set conflicts and script meddling had become the norm whenever she was involved. Even her once impenetrable public persona, effortlessly, stylish, philanthropic, and media-savvy, started to look like a hollow shell. Rumors spread of staff resignations, describing how the environment around her had become unmanageable. An assistant director from a previous film allegedly walked away from the industry altogether, citing experiences that were the worst I've ever encountered. The crescendo of accusations painted a picture of someone who, behind the scenes, was unraveling everything she had worked so hard to build. The meltdown wasn't confined to business either. Personal anecdotes began circulating about tense relationships and canceled appearances, fueling speculation that Blake was attempting to stage a massive comeback solely to overshadow the lawsuits. If that was the plan, it backfired spectacularly. The more she tried to regain control, the more the public saw a pattern of manipulation and relentless PR stunts. In a place like Hollywood, where illusions are currency, the real kiss of death is when fans stop believing in your performance, both on-screen and off. By this point, the question on everyone's lips was simple. Is there any road back for Blake Lively? Can a star so thoroughly dragged through the mud bounce back with a winning role or a heartfelt apology tour? Or is Hollywood's memory a lot longer than anyone wants to admit? So here we stand, witnessing an intense drama that many say is the final act of Blake Lively's Hollywood reign.
There's always friction that happens when you make a movie like this.
This ends with me. I'm done. I'm tired.
Once cherished for her glamorous fashion sense and disarming interviews, she now finds herself at the center of swirling allegations, seething co-stars, and an audience that no longer buys her carefully managed persona. From Anna Kendrick's frosty dismissal to legal battles making headlines for all the wrong reasons, it's clear that whatever mystique once kept her perched atop red carpets has all but vanished. It's a cautionary tale for anyone chasing stardom, in an era where reputations can be demolished by a single tweet or headline. In a world that loves a comeback story but hates feeling deceived, Blake's predicament cuts deep. She rose quickly, cultivated an aura of perfect poise, and perhaps believed her own hype just a little too much. Now, with studios pulling away and fans actively protesting her public appearances, she faces a stark choice: double down and risk total alienation, or step out of the spotlight to regroup and attempt a different approach. But if Hollywood has taught us anything, it's that no downfall is completely irreversible until the final curtain drops. Could she stage a miraculous rebound by addressing every issue head-on and rebuilding trust? Possibly, but the cracks in her public image are so deep that many insiders say it's a long shot at best. The entire industry, from brand executives to fellow actors, seems content to leave her behind and move on to the next sensation. In an environment that thrives on reinvention, the truly deciding factor will be public perception. Whether audiences still have any goodwill left, or if they feel they've seen enough. Until then, each new development, from a lawsuit update to a social media post, only fuels the speculation that this might be her final bow. In the end, the bright lights can reveal or conceal. Blake Lively's challenge is figuring out which side of that harsh illumination she's going to end up on, and if there's any shred of redemption waiting for her backstage once it's all said and done.